Ready, Amy? All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Amy, if you can take the roll.
Mayor Rogenreith,
Here.
Ms. Burhoop. Here. Ms. Hoffman.
Here.
Ms. Strain. Here. Mr. Tucker.
Here.
And we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, before we approve the agenda, Vince would like to move, we have one more Christmas light presentation, if we can move that to number 1. And then I'll look for a motion with that amendment.
I'll make a motion to change the agenda.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, and then I'll look for a motion for the approval of the August 3rd minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, Commissioner, Department Head, and Community Board report.
I'll just start out. On the EDA funding for the lift stations, staff is continuing to work with the EDA on the grant application. Federal Historic Preservation Review has been completed, finding of no significant properties affected, and we remain positioned to move forward once the award timelines are announced. And that timeline is just mainly at the discretion of EDA in Denver, so we're still working on that. Waiting for that to come through so that we can finalize the CDBG funding package for these lift stations, North Shore Bypass, and Military Road reconstruction. So with that, waiting for EDA, we've delayed the North Shore Bypass bid opening from late September to early December to accommodate all that stuff. Flood mitigation efforts with the Corps continue. We have another meeting on August 27th, waiting for a press release that we can put out on where that study is and what it will all entail moving forward. So we're in probably meeting 2 of however many it's going to take over the next 3 years. So we're in the very initial stages. The Corps has requested some money from Union County to fund the local part of it, and still working with City of Sioux City to get their participation. That's all I got.
All right. Anyone else?
I would like to say that last Wednesday, we did have our 3rd of our series of ice cream socials, and we also had the grand opening of the Barks and Rec Dog Park. We had a very nice turnout. What I thought was just great was we had 5 large dogs who played in that park all together just like they were meant to. So it was really great, and I just thank the city for supporting this project because many people have continued and I hope will forever continue to use the park.
Thanks.
I'd like to jump in here. I have a couple of things. We have a young man that's going to come in and give us another light presentation tonight, so that'll get the holiday cheer thing going, so he'll be up in here in just a little bit. I'd also like to take a little time to thank the guys on North Shore. Anybody who was in charge of building the street. I know there's a lot of you in this room have put in a lot of time and effort on it. It looks great. I actually used it tonight. It works really well. It's a nice road. So I'd like to thank all of you guys for all your efforts and hard work. Thank you.
And also, thank you to the city staff. They put in a lot of hours on the dog park, making sure everything was ready on time. It worked well, and I just can't thank them enough. Rich for putting up the canopies and the maintenance staff for all the work that they did there.
All right. Anyone else? Okay. Well, Vince, I'll have you go ahead and introduce the Christmas light presentation.
So tonight we got holiday cheer lighting. If you're ready to go, come come ahead and we'll get
Did you want
you going here.
community input first?
Oh, yeah.
Well, what do we do?
I'm sorry, I went out of order. My bad. We'll have you
Just
up
hang
here
on for a minute,
shortly.
we'll have you up here just a second, sorry.
Yeah, we have community input. So if you have something not on the agenda, please come forward.
Val Hauer, 8 Penrose. I just had a question, Jeff. When you talked about the Big Sioux River study, I saw in the paper that the DDCID did not approve it. Have they done that since their last meeting?
What's DDCID?
Dakota Dunes Board thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're on board.
they are. on
Yeah,
board.
yeah,
Okay.
they're gonna-
So you
they're
said
gonna
North Sioux
participate.
City, or Sioux City, you were still,
Yeah, Sioux City I'm still working with, but
Dakota
I've got
Dunes
Dakota
will?
Dunes commitment, yeah.
Okay.
We're
perfect.
working up a local share agreement that will codify that, but I don't have that done yet.
Okay. And then will we get an update later about like the dirt behind Penrose? Like how
Yep,
soon that's
yep,
starting?
that'll be on the
On the-
North Shore reconstruction and McCook Lake grading.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I am Bonnie Laurie. I live on Lake Shore and have a question about unkept properties. And I was to understand that you would be meeting with whoever is viewing community parcels and seeing what needs to be kept up better. We have 2 really bad eyesores very close to my house, and it's been like that for many years, and, you know, I hear concern, but nothing has been done in 16 years that I've been there. So just wondered if anything has been done in terms of checking out these properties, getting in touch with the owners.
Yeah, there's 2 properties on Lake Shore right now that we're working with through a notification process. It's a process that is lengthy. It gets to be uncomfortable at times because we have to give them notice, and then we have to follow through on the ordinance and give them time to repair and that kind of stuff. And then we have some remedies available to us depending on how far the commission wants to go with it. So we're working with 2. I don't know if it's the same 2 that you're talking.
Well, the one across from my house is in the trailer court, and the other's on Alcoma on the corner.
Yes, they're both being.
And both, as far as I can interpret the ordinances, I don't know why we have ordinances, because they're not really followed, but
Well, we
they've been, violating them for many years.
Yeah, and we're currently, there's a letter to both of those properties right now. I think they have until the first part of September to come up with a plan to repair and replace the stuff, and then we have options to us after that, if they don't comply. But they have there's a process outline that we have to follow, and we're currently following that, and we're in the early stages of that right now.
So there really are no time limits. It could be another
there's-
16 years.
Well, I don't think it's really been addressed to any permanent degree. Right now, it is being addressed to a permanent degree, so let us work through the process, and we'll try to get to an end game.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bonnie.
And we do have an agenda item coming up that relates to that later tonight.
Hi, guys. I just
Hello.
have a quick question. How soon before they're going to get our mailboxes moved down to where they should be?
Couple weeks.
Yeah, I think it would be, like to keep them where they're at for the time being until the boulevard work is done.
Okay.
And permitting subdivision programs.
And then will they be patrolling tomorrow?
Yeah,
'Cause I have to get out early for an appointment for my husband, so,
yeah, Rich will be down there.
okay.
Rich and others.
All right. We'll move on. So Vince, I'll turn it back over to you.
This is Austin with Holiday Cheer, and he wants to give us a little presentation on putting lights on the city hall here.
All right, so my name's Austin with Holiday Cheer Lighting. I'm not going to sit here and bore you with a bunch of all stuff lights can do. Our lighting system, Holiday Cheer Lighting, has been around since 2013. We've been installing permanent lighting since 2018. So we've installed almost every single brand under the sun. We know what's going to happen with the lights, what's going to go wrong. Lots of systems out there are either 3-wire systems or they're like sold for homeowners. They're not sold for commercial buildings. So lots of systems like Everlights, Trim Lights, Jellyfish, they all splice together every single wire. So about every 35 bulbs, they make a splice. What happens when you do that, 3 to 4 years down the road, a bulb's gonna go out. Then they're gonna create another splice. Then it's gonna create another failure point. So essentially, they're Frankensteining the systems together. We used to sell a product that was like that. We've paid millions of dollars out of pocket replacing homeowners' lights. Because they were still technically under warranty, even though the company, they're not really under warranty because there's about a 15-page thing for terms and conditions for the warranty. So the system we use is the Minley and Rainman system. This is actually used at Disneyland, Disney World, Gaylord, Opryland hotels, and then most recently, every scooters is getting these lights on the building. It's a metal track. It's a 24-volt system. The lights actually don't splice together. They just twist and lock together. So what that happens is if a light does fail 3, 4 years down the road, we can just replace that one strand. We don't splice in a whole new section of lights, which when you do that is going to create another failure point. And then after so many repairs, they're going to sell you a new system. Even though they say lifetime warranty or stuff like that, just being in business and everything this long, that's exactly what happens. They're kind of banking on homeowners moving because then the warranty's not transferable. They're all great systems, great apps, but what happens is 5, 6 years down the road, lots of systems start failing. The company ends up going out of business. You'll never be able to get a hold of them. Our lights have a true lifetime warranty on them. We warranty our labor for 3 years. So if anything happens within 3 years, there will be absolutely no cost. With our lights also, they are a 12-inch spacing, so it's a little bit more commercialized. When you have the lights flashing, moving, and blinking, they look like they're really close. We could essentially power this entire building off of 2 outlets, so you would not need to get any outlets added onto the property itself. But they're super bright. You can make them flash. You can make them blink. I do have a presentation on here. I can email it to you. I don't have an HDMI cord. I have the other way. But I have pictures of what your building could look like, essentially lit up. One thing that's different about our system, you can have the lights point out so they look like traditional Christmas lights, or you can make them point down so they can essentially glow the building. Now, what we can do, what other people can't, if you guys would be open for it, we can do a demo on the building. So we could do the front of the building, like half of it pointed out and the other half pointed down for like a day or two, just so you guys can see what it would look like. Or we can just do the whole building. There's no obligation to that. We don't do any screwing. We just use traditional Christmas light clips, throw them on the gutter. Obviously, there wouldn't be any track up there, but you would get the in-person feeling of what it looks like, lights pointed out compared to the lights pointed down. And down is going to kind of give you more of that seasonal glow, where out is going to look more like traditional Christmas lights. But the main thing, again, with the lighting that's out there, there's a lot of different companies out there right now, but if any of them do any sort of splicing, definitely know as soon as that warranty is over, you're going to be essentially paying for either a new controller, new power supplies, constantly having light bulbs go out with that. When we do travel the country, we're actually doing the City Hall in Kansas City right now. The crew's down there right now installing that one. So we specialize in commercial projects. We most recently just did the Railroad Museum over there, and then we did Apex Peptides right out here if you get a chance to drive by those properties. Like in 2019, we have our older system on 3 of the casinos over on this road right over here on Beano and Sherry's and a couple of the other ones over there. But another neat thing about this Minlian system, systems from 10 years ago, if a person wanted to add on, they all stay fully compatible. Lots of these newer systems, about every 2, 3 years, they change stuff up again. So if you do want to add on later down the road, you're going to have to make it all match. You have to get everything all new. What's also really neat about this controller is it does have cloud access, so you can remotely control it from anywhere you're at. So if you were going to do this building and maybe add other buildings down the road, you could control them from your home or wherever. You can also link them all together. So you could change like the city hall, police station, fire station all in one click, not have to go to each and every single one of them to be able to do that. There's a built-in calendar. So you guys could sit here and talk about what you wanted the lights to be on for the entire year, and you wouldn't have to keep coming back to meetings every single day. You could just schedule it out on what it looks like. A building we did similar to this, Pioneer Bank down in Sergeant Bluff, they have their lights pointed out, so it kind of has an overhang and stuff like that if you like to drive around. Sergeant Bluff, we probably have like 2 or 3 dozen commercial properties in the Sergeant Bluff area that all have different lights. Lots of them do point out. Smaller buildings are pointing down a little bit if they do have a house, and again, the down is going to give where it's the wall wash effect on the property. This, with the overhang and everything, how far away it is, the wall wash isn't going to look as good as a lot of pictures do. Just being dead honest, lots of pictures will probably make like the whole building's glowing. It's probably not going to look like that in real life. But again, that's where we can definitely, if you are interested, we can do a demo of the lighting on the building, no obligation, and we can just attach it out on one half and down on the other half, so you can see what the two different looks look like.
Do you have the ability to accent certain architectural aspects?
Yes.
Of the building, like pillars?
Yep, so if you just wanted, like, if you wanted to have some of them dim and then kind of put more accent lighting on the pillars, you can. So zoning is in there. If you wanted the front to be a different color than the back, you can do stuff like that as well.
Can you sync it to music?
Not yet. You can. Now, that's the other thing. Lots of people ask about syncing it to music. Then you're going to need speakers. You're going to have to download. It's not as easy as it sounds. That is in their works, just like they're adding an AI thing to say, hey, make a firework display. That will all come. That's another cool thing with this company. All updates are completely free. Some of them charge for updates. Even the people that bought these lights in 2018 still have the same features as all the new ones that are coming out, where lots of the other systems you have to pay for a new controller, et cetera. But this company was actually built for commercial lighting, not essentially residential, so they weren't wanting lots of callbacks and stuff like that.
Are you local?
Yes, we're local right here in Sioux City. I live in Sergeant Bluff. Yep, so if anything happens, you can easily reach out to us, and we have quite a few projects out in the area, so it's very easy. But like, I highly recommend the Railroad Museum has a lot. Every single building out there has lights on there. The Apex building we did out there, we used a different style of light, still the same company. It's like a full-on bar. They didn't want like the traditional Christmas light look. So it's a completely different look. They do have different options, but the way I quoted it was for this style of lighting. This is a metal track, but it would be color matched the same color as the building. And either way, if you did it out or down, it would still be the same price for you. But I will email you over that little presentation I had. I just had some mock-ups of what the building would look like.
I actually put
Oh,
a
perfect.
color page on the front of it so they
Okay.
can kind of see what it looks like.
Awesome.
Yep, I did.
Yep, and that quote is for everything going all the way around the building. I haven't been on top of the building, but it looks like you wouldn't need any outlets or anything added like that.
The two examples you used, are they lit up now, or is it just lit up, are they just lit up during Christmas time?
No, they're lit up right now.
Are they, okay?
Yep, I think they're both on red, white. Lots of people are red, white, and blue right now until about September 11th. And then they'll kind of switch over to accent lighting, and then whenever they'll turn over to Halloween. Any other questions?
Cool, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
thank you.
Thanks, Austin.
All right, we'll move on to flood recovery, North Shore reconstruction, and McCook Lake grading update.
All right. So, starting off with North Shore Drive, obviously the biggest update there is that tonight the road will be open by the time we're done with this meeting, I expect. So, thank you. Open to through traffic for, residents, non-residents, anybody that needs to travel east or west on North Shore. In time for school tomorrow. The two entrances to the Dakota Valley Elementary School, we just finished the asphalt paving on those today as well. So that is probably ready by now to be driven on. So shouldn't have any issues as far as access getting to and from school tomorrow for the start of school. That being said, there will still be a significant amount of work going on over the next probably 3 to 4 weeks to wrap up that project. So there's, most of the driveways, all of the sidewalks still has to be done, topsoil grading work, and then final seeding. So quite a bit left to do. Obviously, if you drive through there, you'll see that it doesn't look like the fully complete project yet, but it will get there over the next 3 to 4 weeks.
So just one thing to add to that, Rusty brought out some speed limit signs, 15 mile an hour, speed limits along the construction area. We'll have some no parking signs out there to try to keep people parked, some of the residents parked on one side of the road just to ease traffic flow in construction. Dakota Dunes came and swept the street, but it's gonna have quite a bit of dust on it for a while until we can get some rain and that kind of stuff. As long as people aren't tracking more dirt on it, but, so there's a lot of, like Ross said, there's a lot of work to be done yet, but it is able to be traveled on now, so.
So yeah, that being said, we're gonna limit parking to one side. We do have enough room on this widened street section to have parking on one side and still maintain 2 lanes of traffic. That extra third parking lane will be utilized as we proceed with construction for the contractor's use as well as for the residents to park on. And that may change periodically over the course of the next couple weeks. And any lane closures, if they have a, significant concrete pour or something and we need to get a concrete truck, anytime they do that type of work, there will be a flagger present. And we've also kind of requested that they avoid, school drop-off hours and then school pickup hours with any of that type of work that might cause a lane closure. So that's it for North Shore update. Flood property grading project phase 1. That's kind of been at a standstill for the last little bit, but we are now entering the seeding window for the fall. So we expect that seeding and final erosion control work to be occurring in the next couple weeks. And that's just the 2 properties that are directly along the lake. The phase 2 project, which includes the area north of North Shore Drive, work started last week on that, early last week. The only work that's really happened so far is a little bit of dirt moving, a little bit of debris removal, and right now they're mainly trying to just get an access road built down into that kind of ravine, so that once they start hauling dirt in, the trucks have a nice haul route to utilize.
Some variables that will affect that is the availability of the dirt, that they're, when they get it off their other job, they can bring it here. And then also rain, obviously, when it rains, it's like as much as it did last week. It's better off to hold them up and not rip things up anymore. So those are the 2 variables we're gonna be kind of waiting on now that North Shore is getting out of the way.
Do they have a time of when they're gonna start hauling dirt? Like, I know you said something about dirt availability, but I just
Yeah.
wonder, do they have like a large scheme plan, like?
I haven't heard anything new as of like this week. They've kind of been telling me it's been coming, next week it's gonna, start moving, but haven't really seen any progression on that, obviously. So we'll reach back out to them either tonight or tomorrow and try and provide you guys an update on that.
Yeah, that'd be great, thank you.
Will there be a circular hauling route, a loop?
That's what I anticipate happening, but I don't know that for sure yet. What they've graded so far is kind of just a one-way in, one-way out
If there
route.
weren't crops in the ground, I think we could arrange a loop, but until the crops get out, it's gonna be they'll have a little loop, but probably not the big one they want right away,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, and that ravine area is obviously the lowest area in the area, in that part of the town, so whenever it rains, all the water filters to there, and so when we do get moisture, it stays there for a while. So until we can start filling that, it's gonna continue to be kind of a pain. But I'll try and get an update for you guys.
Thank you.
And I'll send that out to the group. Otherwise, that's kind of the 2 construction projects that are ongoing. We've also been reviewing lift station plans for both Centennial Drive and River Drive. The city staff, we're working towards a 95% set of plans for that project to get those compiled into one project for bidding and submitting to the DANR. It'll still be 2 separate schedules, bid schedules, but 1 project bid. Continuing to work towards bypass project. As Jeff mentioned earlier, the bid date's been pushed back to early December to accommodate the DOT's kind of bid schedule. And other construction update news, Phase 1B of the Union Crossing utility project is going to begin later this week. So I expect some mobilization and erosion control to happen this week. Utility work probably won't start until next week sometime. And I think that's all I had for updates, unless you guys have any questions on anything.
I did have one question, I should have asked it when we were on the North Shore thing.
Yep.
The walking path, is that like in the works here, like soon?
Yes, so they were working on some of the subgrade prep work for that today. I would expect that to be The section from Penrose to the east, I expect to happen first. That might happen as soon as the end of this week or sometime next week. This section from Penrose to the school will probably be longer. The utility contractor has to come back in. There's got to be, there's an old drainage structure, two drainage structures that have to get removed that are kind of been buried underneath that temporary access route. So once those are out, then that'll kind of free up the grading contractor to get in there and set the subgrade to grade and get it compacted, ready for the sidewalk path.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll move on to North Shore Reconstruction Pay Application 4.
All right, so for the North Shore Drive Reconstruction Project, we're presenting pay app number 4 to Reedy Construction for the amount of $1,224,671.68. We've reviewed this and recommend payment to Reedy.
Look for a motion on that.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. North Shore Reconstruction Change Order 3.
So this change order was brought about kind of at the same time as when we were dealing with all the relocations with Mid-American and their gas line that was in the way of some of our subgrade work. So at the time, we questioned whether or not we needed to continue with 18 inches of cement stabilized subgrade work. And, after discussion with city staff and our engineering team, we decided that for portions of the roadway, we're going to allow a 12-inch subgrade stabilization, which actually results in a slight deduct in the amount of, cement that goes into that, as well as some of the labor involved. So this is a negative change order. The net change is $12,742.20. So if approved, it'll be a deduct off the contract.
I'll make a motion to approve change order number 3.
Second.
Any other discussion?
It's cool, we get money back, that's awesome.
I know, that's the
We don't get
second,
many- we don't get
second
many.
negative change order I've ever
I
seen.
know,
Yeah.
we don't get many of them.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Next is McCook Lake Grading Project Phase 1, Pay App 2.
Yeah, so this pay app is the second pay app for Lieber Construction as part of that flood property grading project Phase 1. So this involved the lots 93 through 85, as well as, I forget the numbers, but the ones on the east end, closer to Leisure Lane. The $38,000 in this in this pay app is mostly for the grading work on those east lots. So some grading work as well as some debris removal on that site. And we have reviewed the pay app and recommend approval and payment to Lieber.
I'll make a motion to approve pay application number 2.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to planning and zoning. Approval of plat of Lot 2A North Shore Addition.
All right, so this is a plat that Stockwell Engineers is submitting on behalf of owner Kendra Shamber. A previous plat was approved and filed in February of 2026 that was intended to combine all of Ms. Shamber's property into a single lot. During research at the courthouse, we found another document that invalidated a previous platting, which caused our plat we prepared to be incorrect. So there's a kind of a sliver on my left side, your guys' right side, kind of a triangle piece that was not included in the previous plat. So we're replatting Ms. Shamber's property into a Lot 2A. to correct that and combine all of her property into a single lot.
Is there a motion for the approval of that plat?
I'll make a motion to approve the plat Lot 2A of North Shore Edition.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is approval of plat of lots 1 and 2 of Penrose Edition.
All right, so this is being presented on behalf of the city administration for lots 1 and 2 of Penrose Edition at the north end of Penrose Drive. This plat would vacate the previously platted lot at that north end, create 2 separate lots, lots 1 and 2 on either side, and also dedicate a 60-foot swath of right-of-way between those 2 lots. The thought behind this plat is that Lot 1 could be a location for a project with Habitat for Humanity to put a new house there. And for the time being, Lot 2, as well as the right-of-way, would be converted into a hammerhead turnaround so that we can provide access to Lot 1 as well as create a little bit better turnaround situation for delivery vehicles or emergency vehicles that need to utilize Penrose. And if approved, Lot 2 could eventually become a single-family lot, but likely we would not utilize that lot as a home lot unless Penrose were to connect to the North Shore bypass.
Water and sewer will extend through, or at least water will extend through that right away to North Shore to create that loop, right?
Yes. With the North Shore bypass project, the water was already going to be connected, so the Penrose water main would be looped. We don't have plans to install a sewer connection through there with the bypass project, but there is already sewer stubbed to the north end of that lot.
Is it possible to turn that into a cul-de-sac? I mean, if we're not planning on attaching it to North Shore bypass, can we just make that a circular drive up there? Rather than actually create a turnaround, I think that seems a little clumsy.
It's not really big enough to make a full cul-de-sac meeting our design requirements. And that's why we proposed a hammerhead turnaround for the time being. And if you did put a cul-de-sac up there, there wouldn't be sufficient space to really have lots on either side.
Could we make it tighter? I mean, or is there a certain plan that the cul-de-sac like a curve in a cul-de-sac has to be this big?
Yeah, I mean, there's design standards in the ordinances for how big that right-of-way needs to be for the cul-de-sac itself. And I think we've looked at that in the past, and there wasn't
So
sufficient space.
it's not only constrained on the sides, it's constrained to the north
Yes,
to be able to do a
yeah.
standard cul-de-sac?
I think you could fit the actual concrete pavement, but all it could ever be is essentially a turnaround. I don't think you would have enough space to really put single-family lots on either side. I mean, we could,
Anything to the north of a cul-de-sac. There can't be anything to the north because that's where the bypass is, but.
Yeah, I was just curious if there was a standard cul-de-sac, are we constrained by the north property line?
and yes, I think the answer is you could fit the actual concrete pavement. I don't know, I'd have to look at the standards again, but I don't know that there's sufficient space for the full right-of-way you required within there.
I was just looking at this last night, and I was like, this is gonna seem really cumbersome up there, like garbage trucks, anybody else who has to get up there and like do anything on the north end of it.
Yeah, I guess, I'm not saying it won't be. I think if you build a hammerhead and you actually pave it with asphalt concrete versus having the gravel kind of turnaround that's up there today, I don't know if it'll be any better or worse than that.
Do we have a drawing that shows what the hammerhead would look like?
I don't have it with me tonight.
Okay.
But And we have a drawing that does show that.
So our only choice is this turnaround place? I mean, that's going to be our only choice up here?
Well, there'll be a turnaround into Lot 2 for now. I mean, if we ever use Lot 2, then it'd have to become a hammerhead, but for now, for the time being, there will be a turnaround up there.
A paved turnaround.
Paved.
Oh,
I mean, that's something you'll have to decide. That's a cost consideration there, but
oh, sorry.
Want to put the house between Morgan's and Ivas? I mean, it's a 50 lot, lot 10.
someone lost that in the flood, so we are trying to be, and plus they have right of first refusal to buy it back, so this is a better location for now.
I just think it's a step, what you're trying to do is connect it to the bypass, that's what you're trying to do.
I can't say that. I won't say that.
It's even saying it, like, well, it could be a lot
Did
for a house.
did you have,
There's a room for a Lot 1 and a Lot 2. If this road is not, we have no intention to connect it. But things change, 10, 15, 20 years from now, people might want it connected. This would allow for that.
So are these lots actually big enough for houses? For a long time, ever since I moved here, I was told that there isn't sufficient room for a house there.
That's what the dotted lines on there are, the building envelopes. And so that Habitat house would fit on Lot 1. It'd have to be a lot smaller house on Lot 2, but it's still
So will it fit
possible.
with- I live at 19 Penrose, so of course, we'd like to see as much space between the houses, and I'm sure the person that lives there would too.
This meets all the zoning requirements, right, for that area, all the setbacks. There, a lot of the houses along there don't meet the setbacks. This property does. They'd have to fit the garage and the house within that setback line.
So did that lot increase in size because of the purchase of land on the bypass?
No, not to my, I don't, did it?
No, it actually decreased because we had to eat into a portion of that lot with the North Shore Drive bypass right away.
High school will not have access to that building anymore.
Not from Enrose.
They usually do, I mean,
Yeah,
it's not technically. People come up here, we're gonna
Back into this and go out.
that access will be provided off the bypass.
Do this,
I guess the second question, my other concern is how are we going to get an area for trucks and turning people to turn around? And I guess using lot 2 is a solution for at least right now, is that right?
Yes, or it'll be a hammerhead where they'll have to drive in, back up, and then go back. This is the proper way to plat this property. I mean, we need to have a water line that goes through there. We'll have public right-of-way up in there, whether it's a roundabout, turnaround, whatever. It's got to be a public right-of-way for that to happen, so this allows for that. We can grant an easement on Lot 2 for turnaround.
I hear a distinction between cul-de-sac and turnaround. But right now, it's a turnaround, but a cul-de-sac.
Yeah, I'd say that's right.
And so what's going to be there is going to be similar to what is there now, except you drive in on one side of the pole and circle around the other lot and drive out on the other side of the pole.
I think that's fair.
Is that correct?
It'll be on Lot 2 instead of on Lot 1.
I think the other thing that is, if this gets approved and we, are working with Habitat on a house for Lot 1, there are some private utility relocations that need to occur as part of that project. There's some private utility relocations that are going to be part of that project, and one of those is likely going to be relocation of that pole, so it's not right in the middle of the right-of-way. So that is more open for vehicles to utilize that as a turnaround.
They've been putting those things underground in modern times, but are we thinking of that?
Mid-American won't put those underground unless the community is willing to pay additional cost to have those put underground.
Yeah, they prefer it above ground.
They would
They still look better underground, though.
No
And
doubt.
the power goes out less. My parents' power goes out quite a bit. Mine never has, and mine are underground. There's had a goose hit it.
Careful, they'll move in with you.
I know.
There's catch-22 to that, too. If it's underground, it's harder to find where the problem is. If it's above ground, it's easier, so, there is pluses and minuses to everything, but
I would, in the future, though, I would like to know if there is a cost difference, so we can make that choice.
when it comes time, we can definitely do that.
So now if you're gonna move that pole, what are you gonna do with the other pole that's on the lot? Well, I don't know if it's on my lot, I guess it's on my lot. Does that have to be,
I don't know, that's a Mid-American question.
All right, any other questions?
Planning and zoning has approved the lot and recommended it, correct?
Yes.
the drawing up there shows that dotted line is not the house, it's just the area in which the house can go.
That's the building envelope, yeah.
Yep.
So as far north as we can put that house would be superior to them looking right into the middle of the other houses.
It's platted the same, the building envelope is the same for all those lots. 7 feet, I think, on the sides.
I
Correct.
understood that was the minimum,
Yes.
That's the minimum, yeah.
so there's some leeway there.
If the builder decides to, yeah. I mean, whatever house they decide to put on there, just gotta fit within that box.
Is the builder going to be Habitat or is it going to be the city?
There is a memorandum of understanding with Habitat, and the city would just prepare the lot, and the Habitat would be in charge of building the house.
So if whoever moves in there and neighbor me, we would have to talk to Habitat about that kind of stuff. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think that's a fair question. Yeah, that's fair. You'd have to talk to them about moving it. I don't know how much flexibility they're gonna have to move it, but that would be their call
Well, that's
to make.
definitely a question to have. I imagine people move it.
Isn't it just Julie's old house? I mean, it's not one that's being built, so we already know what size it is.
Yeah, it's, the house that's currently parked behind 44, yeah, Julie's house.
Yeah, so I think there is a layout that shows how the house fits on that
Yeah.
building envelope.
We have an exhibit that showed the house on that site. I don't have that with me tonight, but we know that the house will fit within the building setbacks. But, where that is positioned exactly within those building envelopes, is kind of up to the builder. We know it fits, but they could shift it north, they could shift it
Yeah.
south.
And I guess they would probably push it as far north as they could.
Well, I mean, on behalf of that neighbor and myself, or anybody else, they would like to have their houses separated by as much as possible.
Yeah, and they will as long as it fits into the envelope. So I think they would be driven by that same
So that would be
motivation.
the best.
Yeah, that's good comment. Good, yeah, reasonable comment. All right, any other questions? Okay, we'll look for a motion to approve plats of lots 1 and 2 of Penrose Edition.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
No.
All right, motion carries. Next up, CB1 Military Road Central Business District Ordinance 2026-03, first reading.
Good evening, everyone. I know Ross told told you that we'd be done in time for North Shore opening, so I know my time limit. I'll try and be quick with some of these zoning ordinances.
It's going to open either way, so take your time.
All right. So we've been going through a process of updating zoning ordinances. There are several ordinances that haven't been touched in quite some time, so we're looking at the zoning ordinances really in 4 different buckets. The first one to work its way to this point is our zoning ordinances covering the 5 business districts in North Sioux City. That's Central Business 1, Central Business 2, Highway Commercial, General Business, and Industrial. And really the idea is to address some issues that have popped up as we've been working through projects over the past number of years, address issues, clean up some items that really just don't make sense, or issues that make getting development done more challenging or unreasonable or adds confusion to the process. So we've been going through, started with an internal group, having internal group discussions regarding these 5 ordinances that will be going through. There's been some involvement. These were sent out to the North Sioux City Economic Development Corporation Board for input. Also been sent out to developers and property owners of some undeveloped lots or people who do development in this area who would provide some quality insight into the proposed changes. So I've gone through a lengthy process looking at the ordinances. The first one is Military Road, or CB1 Military Road. So this is really the strip area. And Amy, if you want to pull up the zoning map, you'll see it's that area on the east side of town and kind of that reddish, pinkish color. So it's really the strip area where we have bars, restaurants, casinos, bank, a few other businesses there. And you can go back to the ordinance. So you can see a red line version of some of the changes, followed by a clean version. Most of the changes here are with regards to permitted and conditional uses. So a permitted uses, it's an allowed use. If somebody wants to do a bank in CB1, it's permitted use. They can do a bank as long as they meet other ordinances, submit for building permit. Conditional use, that requires a conditional use permit through the planning and zoning. It's conditional use. Sometimes those uses make sense, sometimes they don't, but they require a conditional use permit. It's really in CB1, the 2 big changes are just shifting a number of conditional uses to permitted uses. So like a brew pub, microbrewery in conjunction with a restaurant, that's added to a permitted use. Previously, brew pub was conditional use. Feel like that's something that makes sense, given the nature of the strip area. Kind of makes sense for that area. Also added mixed use, commercial, residential. That is becoming more and more common. So mixed use, it's residential on the main floor, or excuse me, commercial on the main floor, residential on a floor above the commercial use. In many downtown districts, that's pretty common. The strip's a little bit unique. I don't know if you'd necessarily call it a typical downtown, but it would be a fit that we thought makes sense in this area.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
On number R, where you had public park, playground, trails, and/or swimming pool, is it possible to add splash pad? I would see North Sioux City, maybe not exactly in that area, but it's been, swimming pool is referenced in quite a few of the sections. And I would propose we would do splash pad to be included in that.
I don't know why that wouldn't fit in terms of the zoning. It's just if it makes sense on other fronts, parking and
Swimming pool
access
wouldn't
and
fit either.
size.
So
Right.
either you take it out, or take swimming pool out, or add splash pad. I see great requests from residents for a splash pad. I'm not saying that, if you're going to say swimming pool in this area, then I think you should also say splash pad.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily.
Or take swimming pool out.
Right. I guess my interpretation, without looking at the definitions and having any other conversation, that a splash pad would fit. I don't know that you would necessarily need to call it out. It probably would, you could, but you don't necessarily have to, Sarah, if you.
Yeah, I would say, like, to me, a public park would probably include something that would have a feature on it, such as a splash pad. Just like we don't call out here, like, recreational park, or, playground equipment, so.
Or dog
I,
park.
I would say I would classify a splash pad as similar to a feature in a public park.
As long as it's there. I don't
Yep.
care where it is, just somewhere.
Sure. The other big change in the CB1 that's proposed is establishing setbacks. Right now, it has average front and rear yard setback existing on each street shall apply. That can get confusing. Also, there's no side yard setback. So when we talked about side yard setbacks just a little bit ago, in CB1, there are no side yard setbacks as of right now. So the proposed change would establish setbacks. You can see them here. They're included. But that's the other adjustment that's being proposed for CB1.
So there's an ordinance, first reading for just CV1? CV1.
Correct. That'd be ordinance 2026-03. It just is a cleaned up version in ordinance format. And Sarah, they did respond and
Yep.
say they looked okay on her end. But yeah, basically just cleans up what was in the red line version, puts in ordinance format.
So do we look for a motion on this now, or is there going to be another reading?
There'll be two readings. You have to do a motion to approve the first reading,
Okay.
and then at a second meeting, they will come back with this second reading, and again, would be approved by motion.
Okay.
And then be published.
And again, these were all presented to planning and zoning, one was it last week.
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to make the motion to approve CB1 Military Road Central Business District Ordinance 2026-03.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, moving on to CB2.
Okay, CB2, River Drive Central Business District. This is, and Amy, if you could pull up the zoning map, this is the area in pink, right along River Drive there, stretching up north towards the Gateway campus. There's a few areas west of the interstate as well, a couple commercial parcels as well. Similar changes. The first primary change is just adjusting some of the conditional uses, shifting them over to permitted uses, so brew pub, microbrewery, having one of those along River Drive, that we felt like that makes sense. Same with mixed-use commercial residential, as those become more popular. That was added as would be added as permitted use in this district as well. In terms of removals, we removed single-family detached dwelling, so a single-family home along, like say, the north end of River Drive. Didn't feel like that would make sense or be the best use of that. That property wouldn't be consistent with what's in the comprehensive plan, so that item was removed. The other change was, again, with setbacks, similar to CB1, the average front yard and rear yard setback on each street shall apply. So this kind of came up as an issue when we were working with Quick Start. If they were to follow what their neighbor was doing, McDonald's, they would have to be about 115 or so feet, which is, I mean, basically their setback then would have been like right in the middle of their property. So they really couldn't have done anything. It just didn't make sense. Also, like CB1, no side yard restrictions, which we don't think is in the best interest of anyone. So side yard, but then front and rear yard setbacks get established in this ordinance as well.
One of the
And
reasons,
I was gonna say, and the property owners in this area of the undeveloped lots, they were, connected with them. They were supportive of the changes. I think if anything, it's just going to clarify, it's going to make things just easier, make more sense, less confusion when it comes to development, and they were supportive of it, of the changes.
One of the reasons, there's a couple reasons for the reason we're bringing these forward. One is to improve land use ordinances within our jurisdiction, but the other part of it is to help us better manage the administration of those ordinances. You know, without side yard setbacks and stuff, it becomes a little bit haphazard. So this sets a little bit more firm, distinct guidelines for that development as we move forward.
I'll make the motion to approve CB2 River Drive Central Business District Ordinance 202604.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, next is Highway Commercial District.
Highway commercial, really the only changes in highway commercial are some of the permitted and conditional uses. It's all going to sound kind of familiar here, or a common theme, but brew pub, microbrewery would be added as, moved from conditional use to a permitted use. Some of the things that were taken off, the permitted use, you know, like a elementary school in our highway commercial area doesn't make sense. And actually, if you want to pull up highway commercial, it can see that. It's those areas in green, so we're not going to have an elementary school realistically, a new one, but if there were going to be one, highway commercial would probably not be the place for it. Daycare, preschool, that is moved from a permitted use to a conditional use. The idea there is there's some areas we think a daycare, preschool would make sense. There'd be some nice locations for it, but there's also some locations, especially as you stretch further up to on North Derby Lane, where a preschool around a lot of industrial type businesses, buildings, a lot of truck traffic, it might not make as much sense. So that's moved to a conditional use just as a check to make sure that it's going to be in everyone's, you know, in the greater good's best interest. Let's see. One I'll point out, conditional use, consumer storage building, that was moved from a permitted use in industrial to a conditional use in highway commercial. Storage is not an industrial use. It's not the ideal fit for it. Highway commercial is probably, we believe, the better fit in terms of land use. It's added as a conditional use because there's a lot of storage in North Sioux City already. And this is just to give the community a chance to make sure that further consumer storage makes sense. The idea is we don't want to be the garage or the storage shed of neighboring communities. So it's added as a conditional use to put an added check on further storage development. Mixed use is added in highway commercial as well. There might be, again, that's another circumstance where mixed use, it might make sense in some areas of highway commercial, other areas might not make as much sense. Similar to daycare, preschool, there might be some areas south of River Drive where it makes sense. Further up on North Derby, mixed use probably doesn't make sense. So really, again, when it comes to highway commercial, those are the big changes.
All right, is there a motion to approve Highway Commercial District Ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And moving to general business.
Yep, general business, a few changes, some adjustments to the permitted and conditional uses. Mixed-use residential, again, is added as a permitted use, conditional use. Adult businesses was removed. Don't know that there's a whole lot of appetite for that.
Could you show the general business section on the map?
Can we look at the map?
Yeah,
please?
this will be the area in blue, kind of in the Gateway campus area. Not a ton of changes to this one. One is, if you look at 17.48.11, appearance, fire hazard, noise, sewage, air contaminants, odor, gases, vibrations. This is copied over from the industrial zone, really copy pasted, so some of the same standards in industrial are going to be in place with regards to noise and air contaminants, odors, stuff like that, because there is a lot of business activity and general business, just to make sure those areas are consistent. So that'd be added to general business. That's really the only change there.
I will make the motion to approve General Business District Ordinance 2026-6.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And last district is industrial district.
Okay, some of the changes, again, I mentioned permitted uses, consumer storage buildings, currently a permitted use in industrial, that's getting moved to a conditional in highway commercial. Not a ton of other changes. One I'll mention, and they're conditional uses, cryptocurrency or dating mining facilities. One of the issues that we've seen pop up is there's these little pieces of equipment that are sitting in backyards that are just sitting out there. They don't always have the best appearance. There's some noise associated with them. There's really nothing that regulates them right now. So this would establish that some of these things that just kind of keep popping up and sit in backyards of businesses, and they don't look the best, and this would be a way to tackle those, is make it a conditional use. A conditional use permit would have to be applied for. We'd have to go in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission, and they would have the ability to put conditions upon these types of units. So they couldn't, the Planning Commission could say, we're not just gonna allow this to just sit out in your yard for everyone to see. You have to enclose it, they could do whatever condition that they see fit.
If you look at that map again, okay. Why is it we didn't go up to the area around the airport property and the land that the city owns there? Are you not doing that ordinance area yet?
That whole area in gray is industrial. So this industrial
That
zone
does
would
cover
apply
it.
to that.
Then why was airport taken out?
We didn't deal with the airport update. It just, we were trying to address the ordinances that we noticed that were most problematic, that were the most confusing, the one that hindered development, airport, anything related to that, really hasn't come up for us, and the airport area is outside of city limits.
Well, I know the runway is, but
Right.
isn't their building their hangars are within city limits, is that correct?
Last I understand, I know it's showing it is on this map. My understanding it's not. The airport believes that it's not. Last I heard it's not, but I'd have to check on that one.
Who will address the airport then?
For that parcel?
Yes.
Yeah, I can.
I mean, who will in the future? If they decide to do something, who will be in charge of the
Well, we
airport property?
have extra jurisdictional
Yeah.
rights to anything getting developed within so far of our boundary, 2 miles or,
3 miles.
We have plating jurisdiction, right? Not building
Yeah.
permit approval.
Right.
yeah, plating jurisdiction
Right.
outside our city limits. But yeah, for building approvals,
Go
we
through
don't.
Union County.
that goes through you.
It always
Yeah.
was my understanding that the hangar buildings were part of North Sioux City.
Yeah, it's not what it's showing on this map.
Aren't they down there in the lower left-hand corner of the, kind of right here?
Oh, are they in the yellow area?
They're right above the
It'd be
yellow.
in the,
Oh,
Is
so
that
part of it
Rickenbacker
is.
Road?
Okay. Well, yeah, it looks like
Pardon me?
some of that is in the city limit,
Right.
that little jog there.
So,
So currently, it's just zoned into industrial,
so even though it's not listed, we still
treated as industrial.
are going to do something with it at the time.
Well, according to this map, it would be included in our industrial zone.
Yes.
I can get some clarification. I know that they believe it's outside of city limits, and there was some conversation about that, but I don't know how that all shook out. That was with the previous staff person.
I
and
think there
wasn't.
should be conversation.
Yep.
So you're saying you want a microbrewery? Is that what you keep saying?
And mixed use.
Oh, okay.
No, there's just some of these, that we believe make sense. That would be a good fit. They're not necessarily tied to any anticipated development that we know of. I would love for a microbrewery to call, so if you're listening and you run a microbrewery, would love to have that conversation, or mixed use or whatever, but, again, these are, I think that they would be good fits. They make sense. These ordinances haven't been touched in a long time, so, it kind of helps us address what we know. We'll need to keep monitoring these as things change. But I think these would address some of the issues that we have and allow for common sense development going forward, things that are consistent with the comp plan and would be positives overall.
And that's one thing I would say, this is the first reading. A couple weeks we'll have the second reading, so between now and then, you can re-examine them. If you have any other questions, get them to us before the meeting. We can help you address them, and I would say that same thing for the public. If you had some questions on what we're changing here, which is on the website, review these and bring your questions to us before the next reading.
I also, could you clarify, number C, extraction of rock, sand, and/or gravel? What is that to consist of?
Yeah, it's never come up. I'd have to look at the definitions that are within the ordinances. We've never done that before.
Was that in there before?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that wasn't anything that was added. So if it was in there before, unless it really jumped out as causing a problem or being a just completely unreasonable fit, it's likely to just be left in there.
What we had happen during the flood time with LG Everest, is that the same or different with them bringing rock?
I think this is more a mine or a borrow pit.
Like
is
a
what this
sand or
is.
gravel
Extraction.
operation.
I want to
Yeah.
be clear,
Yeah.
because I'm sure someone's going to ask, what's going to happen with the situation that we had
Yeah.
with the LG Everest and bringing rock and dropping it? And
That particular area isn't zoned, though.
Right.
It's not within the industrial zone. Just that strip there, it's all railroad, it's not in the industrial zone, but the extraction of rock would typically be in an industrial area under a conditional use.
I know people are going to ask
I
the
get it.
question.
Well, we'll look for a motion to approve the industrial district ordinance.
I'll make a motion to approve the industrial district ordinance 2026-07, first reading.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Next is consideration of a job announcement for a building official code enforcement officer.
Yeah, and then,
Did Bonnie talk to you before
Who
you
did?
put this on here?
Who?
This is Bonnie's agenda.
oh, it has something to do with that, but not that, specific one. So one of the things that I think we need at the city is an improvement to our building department. Both building inspections, issuing of building permits, code enforcement, all needs to improve. And right now, we're contracted with Gary Roan to do some of the building inspections, and we're contracted with Joel Johnson from Gregory to do some of our code enforcement. But what I'm seeing is, that arrangement works good on the code enforcement side. It works fairly well for like yards and stuff like that. But if we want to take our harder line approach on building property maintenance code, as was referenced in the original comment during community input, we need to have some boots on the ground to be able to notify, follow up, and work with people to try to remedy their situation. Some of these situations it's not as easy as you think to get them to comply. So it takes some work, it takes some time. We have to have some due process for them and get them through the process. Having a building official code enforcement officer for the city of North Sioux City specifically, I think would improve that. It would also improve the flow of permitting, inspections, and occupancy of the buildings that we're currently having under construction. I think Gary could still be contracted with us to do some residential inspections, and Joel Johnson could be contracted with us to help us with code enforcement, but we'd have a point person at the city that would handle those type of complaints and be able to be more proactive in helping us enforce the codes. In addition to this, one of the things that I'm working on is bringing on a consultant to help us adopt newer building codes and property maintenance codes. We're on a very old edition right now. We need to update those, and to do that, I don't want to adopt a building code just wholesale. I want to be able to adopt a code with amendments that fit the city of North Sioux City and what we want here in our comprehensive plan and what we're used to building here. And having this building official code enforcement officer would be a big step in developing internal capacity and trying to do that for ourselves instead of having it all contracted out. The skill set for this position is going to be unique, but I think they're out there. What I included in the meeting packet is both a job description and how we would approach the recruiting of a person like this. To get somebody that's accomplished is going to take some doing, but hopefully if we can get the right guy, we can train, or girl, train them up to fill the position. But I think this would go a long way just in helping our workflow within the city. The salary range and all that stuff is in there. The person would be paid according to qualifications. I'm not completely opposed to hiring somebody with the core competencies and training them up too. So I just need to get your permission to bid this out or advertise so we can see what's out there and see what we can get.
I'm going to make the motion to go ahead and advertise the position. I think it's long overdue.
I'll second.
Just to clarify, I think Jeff's motion was to include the hiring range for the salary and that kind of stuff, so I'd include that as well as in your motion to make sure
Okay.
that's covered.
I make the motion to approve the salary as well.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right.
Just a
motion
little
carries.
bit bigger picture, this person would report to me, but as we get further along into our organizational development, I could see this person answering to a director of community development that oversees planning and zoning and the whole ball of wax, and works on the comprehensive plan and seeing that making sure the comprehensive plan is being followed according to ordinance. So this is one step. I'll bring you other ideas in coming meetings, but I really want to push forward the idea of improving our community development department in terms of both planning and zoning and building and code compliance. So that's my ultimate goal.
All right, thanks, Joe. Next is July financial report.
So our July cash took a bit of a dump, about $1.3 million down. Been saying it's been pretty consistent lately, so I suppose it was bound to happen. Of course. Oh, goodness.
One thing as you look at the cash, too, I would say is we're preparing after this pay request to Reedy for North Shore bypass, or North Shore reconstruction. We'll be preparing a drawdown request from Federal Highway that we'll be able to try to recoup about 80%, Amy,
Yes.
of those funds. So we've put that money, we've paid all these pay estimates out of our cash. We'll get a reimbursement from Federal Highway that'll bring some of that back, but they only pay certain times a year, and so we had to hold on to some for a while.
So the good news is, though, our operating revenues are still positive across the board. July was up $653,000 year-to-date, $2,671,000. So our cash is being spent on our capital projects, on our flood recovery, on the general fund amount was for the bike trail and some upgrades to our streetlights. Our sewer was, I guess, planning for the lift stations and land purchases. We are paying debt service out of water and sewer now. North Shore bypass, we had some expenses there as well as flood recovery. And it should be somewhere around 1.7 million that we request from Federal Highway within the next week, I suppose. Hopefully, whenever their window's open for us to request. I will add, though, that the pay request approved tonight is not in here. This is from last month, so. But aside from that, we are focusing on budget right now for 2027 and the schedule. We're also at the same time working with our Waterworth company to look at our water and sewer rates. And we're looking at different health insurance options for employees. So I've sent out invites for everybody to come in with their department head and look at your departments. And that will be happening August 26th and 27th. And then there will be an open meeting on August 23rd at 4 o'clock, open to the public, whatever, that we will look at the whole budget altogether. We'll need to be having the first reading of the ordinance on September 8th and the second one on September 21st.
You said August 23rd, but I think it's the 24th. 23rd's a Sunday.
31st.
The public meeting,
31st.
August 31st.
August
for the public.
31st, okay.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to approval of bills. Did I skip anything?
No.
Okay,
I'll make the motion to approve bills.
Second?
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We already covered City Hall, Christmas light. So, look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting's adjourned.